So living here, you're definitely winning. We don't get impacted by massive swings with the economy as much as other places do with the housing market. And it's because our economy in Charleston is really diverse. So we're lucky to have that. You'll see that a lot of other markets swing up and down drastically, where Charleston stays pretty consistent and steadily up. We have a huge population influx and a really diverse economy, which helps us withstand specific industry swings. The market has sold more transactions than the same time period as last year. What a lot of savvy people understand is if you buy today, you're locking in that price, and if interest rates come down in the future, you can refinance into a lower interest rate. Hi, a lot of people have been calling me and asking if home prices are starting to fall, and it's a really valid question because you see media headlines and they can throw you for a loop, especially because there's a lot of clickbait out there. Having said that, I'll give you the facts, and that way you know what's happening nationally and also locally too. So, as you might expect, some markets aren't doing as well. And when I say that, I mean, maybe they're losing value by 1 or 2% over last year, which isn't a dramatic change, right? We've seen much worse. If anyone else remembers what happened in 2008, I think we all have some battle scars from that. But look where we are today, right? We've come a long way. Having said that, South Carolina as a whole, year over year, actually appreciated about 4%. And then when you hone down to the local market around Charleston, it varies just depending on location. Most of the areas that are within 526 have done really well, close to double-digit appreciation. And then as you start to go a little bit further out, that appreciation has slowed down a little bit. Now there are some areas outside of 526 that have done very well also, but it's hit or miss. Now, as a whole, the entire Charleston area appreciated about 4% year over year. Some places were about 0, and some places were double digits, around anywhere from 10 to 14%. So having said that, if you'd like us to hone in a little bit more on a unique area or a specific area that you're thinking about purchasing in, or you want to become an investor and so you want to buy in an area that is appreciating quickly, just give us a call and let us know, and we can help you with that. We can also help you understand what areas are not appreciating quickly, or if you're just curious about how it might affect your home's value over the long term, certainly reach out and give us a call because we can definitely help. So what you're going to find locally is a lot different than what you're going to find nationally. And you've always heard real estate is such a location-driven thing, and it's all about location, location, location. Having said that, over the last 5 years, home values are up actually 49% nationally. And in South Carolina, 63%. And in the Charleston area, it's even more than that. So living here, you're definitely winning. We don't get impacted by massive swings with the economy as much as other places do with the housing market. And it's because our economy in Charleston is really diverse. So we're lucky to have that. If you were to chart out all the economic downturns over the last 15 to 20 years, you'll see that a lot of other markets swing up and down drastically, where Charleston stays pretty consistent and steadily up. We have a huge population influx and a really diverse economy, which helps us withstand specific industry swings. There's a lot of things here that don't get impacted by the economy, which is like military. We have the Air Force, we have Navy, we have Coast Guard, and then there's also the hospital system. There's also several colleges, several big hospital systems, and none of those things are impacted by the economy at all. Outside of that, we have the thriving port system, we have thriving tourism, and we have a small tech sector that's continuing to grow, and also manufacturing. So as you can see, it's a really diverse economy here, which is fantastic, in a lot of industry that employs a ton of people that is not impacted by the economy at all. And so that's a big reason why things stay really consistent here. In addition to that, you've heard the numbers, anywhere between 30 to 60 people moving to the area a day, and housing creation is not keeping up with that. So when you have that kind of demand coming in, but they're not building that many more homes a year, that puts the supply and demand into a place where it creates a lot of appreciation and a resilient housing market. As we head into 2026, I don't have a crystal ball that's going to predict exactly what's going to happen, but I can tell you that year to date so far, the market has sold more transactions than the same time period as last year. As a matter of fact, last year, since the peak in 2021, There have been fewer home sales every single year, and it kind of feels like last year it bottomed out. And the reason I say that is because this year to date, we're ahead of where we were last year. Now we have a long year ahead of us, anything can change. However, last year, there were the same amount of home sales that occurred somewhere between 2012 and 2014. That's how much it had slowed down, 35 to 40% in some areas. Having said that, I feel like things are starting to pick up. Number of transactions is already ahead of where it was last year. And what that means is it will probably drive pricing up. Now, if you take that into consideration where people are becoming more confident and they're out buying homes, if you see interest rates trickle down just a little bit, I think it's going to make that confidence skyrocket, and people are going to come out in droves to go purchase homes, and I think we'll be back in double-digit appreciation in addition to multiple offers. Now, that's a great, exciting world to be in. However, if you're a buyer, what savvy people are doing is they're buying now before that occurs, because once it already happens, you're going to miss a lot of appreciation. You'll end up paying a lot more for a home. Sure, you can wait for interest rates to come down before you purchase. However, what a lot of savvy people understand is if you buy today, you're locking in that price, and if interest rates come down in the future, you can refinance into a lower interest rate. So a big takeaway is a small dip in the market, and where things have seemingly slowed down, I think is actually about to take off. Who knows what will actually happen? There's a lot of variables that could come into play. But if I was a buyer right now or thinking about purchasing, I would go ahead and make that move and not delay. If you're a home seller and you want to know what this means for you and how much you could sell your home for today and then trade into the next one while prices are still low, give me a call. We can give you an evaluation to let you know how much you could sell your home for if you listed it. We could also, while we're there, bring you multiple offers from different buyers that are competing out there and show you how much you could sell for in that world too, which is a very convenient way to sell and a great way. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can go to davefriedmanteam.com. That's davefriedmanteam.com. And we'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much.